Listen, I want you to think about a highly successful peer. You know the type, someone you work with, or maybe someone in your social circle who just seems to effortlessly have everything you want. Now, imagine they suddenly experience a catastrophic, completely humiliating public failure. I want you to be honest with yourself right now and confront the absolute truth about your first, unfiltered reaction. Just a split second before your conscious mind kicked in to say, oh, I should really feel bad for them, there was this quiet, involuntary surge of relief, a hidden smirk. Well, in this explainer, we're going to completely dismantle that comforting lie of universal human empathy. We're going to examine the absolute darkest, most unacknowledged software currently running in your brain.
Seriously, why exactly do you smile when they fail? Don't lie to yourself here. I want you to force yourself to vividly recall a buried moment of malice. Maybe it was an arrogant colleague getting fired, or one of those seemingly perfect influencer couples going through a just vicious public breakup, or even a wealthy celebrity facing complete public ruin. You felt a spark of deep, undeniable satisfaction, didn't you? Now, society loves to tell us that this is just a moral failing, a temporary glitch in our otherwise empathetic, wonderful nature. But what if it isn't a glitch at all? What if that quiet joy you feel at another person's destruction is actually your biological system working exactly the way it was designed to? Let us examine this from a strictly clinical perspective. The term is Schadenfreude. It's derived from the German word Schaden, which means harm or damage, and Freude, meaning joy. In the literature, it is strictly defined as the involuntary experience of pleasure, satisfaction, or elevation arising from witnessing the misfortune, failure, or degradation of another individual. Understand this. This is not some modern cultural anomaly. It is absolutely not a moral defect that you can cure with a self-help book. As we will clearly establish, Schadenfreude is a foundational, hardwired evolutionary adaptation. It represents a highly functional, albeit dark, side of human social processing that your executive ego structures aggressively attempt to hide from your conscious awareness.
To truly understand this mechanism, we have to look directly at the neurobiology. The inescapable biological reality is documented right here in the data. When an individual witnesses the failure or the public humiliation of a high-status peer or perceived competitor, the brain undergoes a radical neurochemical shift. Functional magnetic resonance imaging, fMRI, studies reveal a massive spike in activity precisely in the brain's ventral striatum. This region is the core node of our internal reward architecture. So witnessing a rival's downfall triggers a severe, measurable dopaminergic explosion in this exact neurological center.
I really want you to let that sink in for a second. Look at this comparison we have mapped out. Your brain processes the destruction of another human being in the exact same way it registers winning a financial lottery, achieving a massive personal victory, or even consuming an addictive substance. The psychological mirror we're holding up here is frankly terrifying. When you watch someone you envy lose absolutely everything, your biology doesn't process that as a tragedy to be mourned. It doesn't pity them. It actually processes their ruin purely as your own personal achievement.
And that brings us to a rather brilliant clinical reality. Notice the specific mechanism we've highlighted. The neurochemical payoff is direct, immediate, and completely independent of any real-world action taken by the observer. Think about the sheer efficiency of that. You do not have to lift a single finger to receive this biological high. The human brain literally interprets the lowering of a competitor as a direct, unearned reward. Now, to understand why our brains are wired with such a seemingly malicious internal reward system, we have to look closely at the evolutionary mathematics of human survival.
This is perfectly explained by Leon Festinger's social comparison theory. From a strictly evolutionary perspective, human survival has always been dictated by resource scarcity and relative hierarchical positioning. In our ancestral environments, critical resources, things like shelter, mating access, caloric distribution, they were strictly finite. Because of that, true status was never an absolute metric. It was, and mathematically still is, entirely relative. Your psychological security, your very survival, is dictated by your standing relative to the people immediately around you. Let's systematically break down this precise evolutionary calculus. It operates in 4 distinct steps. Step 1, a high-status competitor suffers a catastrophic failure. Step 2, because their position suddenly drops, the status gap between the two of you naturally narrows. Step 3, as a direct mathematical result, your relative social status immediately elevates. And here is the absolutely crucial point. Step 4, you achieve this elevation with zero caloric energy expended. You didn't have to hunt, you didn't have to fight, you didn't have to outsmart anyone. Your rival's failure automatically guarantees your advancement up the social hierarchy at absolutely no energetic cost to your system. An effortless hierarchical victory. That right there is the true, unvarnished source of that quiet, completely unacknowledged surge of satisfaction you felt earlier. Your primitive biology is literally rewarding you for surviving and advancing in the tribe without having to do a single ounce of work. It is a free biological upgrade. So you see, Schadenfreude isn't you just being a bad person. It's your hardware celebrating a zero-energy status elevation. But here's where things get really dark. While this mechanism kept our ancestors alive in small, isolated tribes, what exactly happens when this precise neurological defect gets uploaded to the internet?
What happens is the spontaneous creation of the cancel economy. Modern digital architectures and algorithmic platforms have mapped this exact neurological defect with terrifying precision. Make no mistake, social media does not propagate outrage purely because it's sensational. It deliberately and systematically monetizes the triggering of mass public Schadenfreude. What we are looking at is the industrial exploitation of envy. When public figures or influencers undergo a highly visible crisis, these algorithms rapidly amplify the data stream. Why? To provide a mass supply of cheap, effortless dopaminergic elevation to a global population that is biologically desperate for that exact high.
Let's forensically dissect the operational execution of this cancel economy by examining these specific metrics of malicious pleasure. First, algorithms rely heavily on what we call passive aggression harvesting. They actively present the downfalls of people who mirror your specific demographics. This deliberately triggers highly localized peer-to-peer comparison loops to maximize your continuous digital retention. Next, observe the empathy deactivation loop. When your brain perceives a specific target as an ideological or tribal threat, the mirror neuron networks that are usually responsible for basic human empathy are actively suppressed. This neurological suppression is what allows you to experience unmitigated pleasure from their suffering without any biological interference.
And then, of course, we arrive at the most insidious psychological pillar in the modern social matrix, the justice justification. Let's look in that mirror one more time. Consciously, you don't want to view yourself as a predator who enjoys someone else's pain, right? So, to bypass that conscious moral guilt, your ego does something incredibly clever. It rebrands your raw evolutionary envy as high moral alignment. Your brain literally convinces itself that the victim deserved the downfall. You tell yourself and everybody else that you are cheering for justice or accountability. But in reality, you're just masking a primitive, envious thrill. It is the ultimate psychological alibi.
Which logically leads us to this stark conclusion. Cancel culture is, quite simply, the institutionalized, scaled-up manifestation of Schadenfreude. Digital public shaming has been successfully industrialized into a multi-billion-dollar spectator sport. It is a highly organized mechanism that allows millions of individuals to collectively experience a low-effort biological high simply by participating in the social execution of a single target. Let me be clear, this is not about morality. It is an economic model built entirely on harvesting your dopamine through the systematic destruction of others.
We have to face this with absolute, uncompromising realism. Schadenfreude is not a behavioral flaw. It's not something society will eventually correct through better education or some sort of moral progress. It is deeply embedded human hardware. What we are talking about is a permanent, predatory survival algorithm hardwired directly into our biology. It cannot be unlearned. It certainly cannot be loved away. It is a cold, evolutionary reality that drives our quietest, most secret smiles and our absolute loudest public condemnations.
Which leaves us with one final, unavoidable question. If this predatory algorithm is truly permanent, and if our entire sense of social standing is built on this relative evolutionary math, what happens when the modern digital grid continues to exploit our darkest evolutionary code to systematically tear society apart? There are no hopeful platitudes here, no silver linings to end on. The machine is perfectly built to feed on our malice, and right now business is booming. I really want you to think about that the next time you catch yourself smiling at a screen.